Welcome everybody. Have you ever heard, um, employees keep coming into an organization and very soon they start to go away as well. Now, a lot of the times, what is the requirement when you go to an interview for a job interview? Usually you asked questions like, what have you studied? Where have you been? Why do you want to join us? And all of these very stereotypical questions. Now, there is a huge problem here. The reason why a lot of the times an employee or say a volunteer in an NGO or say a citizen to the country is unable to sort of cling on to the idea that the institution is trying to say, or is only for the purpose of say for a salary, for just for a livelihood, for work, for time pass or whatever, all of this somehow will never result in a great change or great productivity, definitely. Now, one book that is definitely that's sort of like recommended for all the entrepreneurs and anybody who's running an organization is this book, which is said as Start With Why. Now, here is the first line of this book reads as, there's a difference between leaders and those who lead us. Now, it sounds very similar to me. What is the difference between leaders and those who lead us? Now, leaders are the people who have an idea, who have an ideology, and they just go about teaching them. Leaders, the ones who lead us, give us a lot more insight, incentive about the purpose of the organization. Now, here the title says start with why. Now, whenever I ask for something, why are you doing this? Why am I eating this? Why should I do this? Here you're trying to look at something very important, which is finding the purpose. Now, for anybody, what is your life purpose? What is an organization's vision? Why is our country so passionate about nationalism? All of these questions give you a very clear purpose. Now, defining purpose has to be the most important part of anything that you start, because when you define purpose explicitly and clearly, it gives a very clear route to every person who wants to be part of that organization, whether he identifies with it or not. And trust me, when everybody is connected to the purpose, to the idea, to the vision, to the goal, and to everything that you stand for, which in very stylish terms called as corporate culture, you are giving that organization and that people who are involved with them a stronger bond even during the times of your crises, even during the times of say financial recession, COVID times, you couldn't pay their salaries, but so many people stuck by you only because they were resonating with the larger idea that you wanted to promote and the gap that you are trying to fill and the vision and the purpose of your organization and you as an individual as well. This is something that leaders need to have. Whenever you try to say something to any person, he might just not get it. Why? Because why would anybody want to do anything if they don't get the sense of it? A lot of the times, students in schools and colleges, they just read and study, mug up and then vomit in the examination for one purpose, that is, they want the marks, they want the certificate, they want the degree so that they can land a job. But that necessity is not always there when you're trying to bring people together. Suppose you are the head of an NGO or an organization, you're just starting out. It is very difficult for you to bring volunteers and get to you if you're not trying to promote or if you're not trying to sell the big idea and the change that you want to do, and rather if you go on giving material incentives that maybe are not as precious and you cannot give those material incentives consistently, but if you give a larger incentive which is of a purpose, then the connection is immaculate. And that is, I think, the bigger and the larger theme of this book, Start With Why. Now, this book is filled with anecdotes and filled with I would definitely say loads of a lot of corporate examples and case studies which sort of give you an idea about how you can imbibe differences that happen in a society, differences that happen in a community, and all of those kind of imperial changes that you want to bring. Now, leadership is all about that. Leadership is trying to bring about a system where you know your path and channel, and you know how to convert the energies and the voices of people to reach your goal. That genuinely is leadership. Leadership is getting that result and getting that change and getting that purpose right, and getting all the energies of the people to make do that. And for that, the next step would definitely be giving the what purpose. Now, what is a rather simple question? When you realize why you want to do something, what becomes easier? The biggest problem that this book tries to say very clearly is that somewhere the why is not the first question asked, but what is the first question asked? Suppose if I'm asking you, what is the business you want to start? Right? The first question I'm asking you is, what is the business you want to start? Not why do you want to do something, or where do you want to do something, or why do you dream of being something, or why do you have a certain passion? Now, when why is not asked first, and then what is the first question you ask, somehow the commitment that you have to that idea is almost, say, 50 to 60% diminished there, right there, overnight. And this is a huge problem, because at the end of the day, to have that consistent efforts to be given, to that consistent action to be put a certain way, and all that energy for you to do a certain activity, you require a lot of motivation, because you need to deal with rejections, failures. You will not find instant gratification. Then how to go about it? If you have that passion, that purpose, that idea, that vision so strong inside your head, then no matter what you're doing, you will end up doing it. Suppose, say, if your big ambition of your life is social empowerment. If the big ambition of your life is social empowerment, even if you don't get the UPSC, you're not going to be devastated as if this is something that I dreamt of my whole life and I've not got it and my life is over. Because you're like, my aim is social empowerment. If not UPSC, okay, fine, let me try and doing an NGO. Maybe something else, maybe social entrepreneurship, maybe being part of a foundation or an organization or an NGO, whatever. So you look out for larger avenues. So as you know, for young entrepreneurs, for young students who are trying to figure out what they want to do, the question should be, start with why. Why are you doing something, and why do you like something so much? And if you have that purpose and passion right, I'm sure everything else will follow, and everything will fall into place in itself. So that is why I want to conclude by saying, start with why.